Okay, with this video, I'm going to go ahead and take on the city-state of the Vatican and the fact that it's a hoax. And it's nothing more than a late 1700s, 1800s built fallacy under the guise of leadership and under the guise of being the chosen person, being the Christ on earth, right? Lying to people as if you need to then follow someone who's been anointed. They're showing you that person then in that photo, at least, that picture, that's Saturn, man. Just so you know. All right, keep going through. You look at then the idea. If you noticed, do you look at the architecture there? I showed you that same architecture in two places in the last couple days. One being so-called Egypt, and two being the so-called point or Fort Point under the Golden Gate Bridge. That hunk of junk. All right, looking then at the oculus idea, that stupid eye opening to the sky so that the light can then be drawn in. That's nothing more than the same building built at the same time, known to you under a different name, right? So they just built one on one side of town and build one on the other side of town and claim one is almost 2,000 years old. Right? And you can see it's nothing more than a cheap concrete construct. A painted turd. Alright? And yet people go by what is they call that? So then you have the same crew that's showing you this Oculus idea, and then that meaning the pantheon or the all gods, meaning, all gods, meaning no God. The unknown God. A city entirely given to idolatry and nonsense. You can see it's the same building, just in a different place. So then the same builders, the same building, the same ideology, the same guiding lights and principles built all these. And these are no more than a couple hundred years old. All of them. There is no ancient Egyptian culture, period. None. There is no ancient Greek or Roman culture. None. Alright? Doesn't exist. It's all a fallacy and a hoax. Alright? These are built only a couple hundred years ago. Strategically placed to look like it was something before, when it's absolutely nothing, because there's nothing in the ocean and the sea and in the seashore to show you that there was actually anything happening there to support that operation. That's nothing more than, this is the riverboat ride at Disneyland. You go by and you see stuff happening. I'm surprised they don't put mechanical little people up there like banging on the thing, pretending to build it. All right, this is Devil's Tower, right? The returning to the encounters of the I don't even want. It's another Spielberg movie, another idea of the mind trick. All right, that's just another understanding of what the plateau is. They're worshiping basically the rise from the flat, the rise in the pants. All right. Then they decided, hey, why don't we just go out into the desert and turn hills into pyramids? And they claim that's a pyramid, by the way. They claim that. And you can just see it's a hill. All right? They claim this was a pyramid. And you can see it's just rubbish and a hill. They just designed a hill, much like at the Mexican hoax pyramids. This is nothing more than a shaped hill that they put enforcements and buttresses on, and it's given way since then. It's rubbish. This is a hill with natural rocks and gradations in it. That's a plateau. That's not the Black Pyramid, man. There's actually people who go to school and they will tell you that that's a pyramid. You can see it's a plateau. This place was built a couple hundred years ago, sold to you. This is nothing more than all gods. Look at the extension of the ISIS temple, nothing more though than bent into two retaining hooks or two reapers. All right? Two half notes. If you flip that, turn that around, you have a circle with a line through it. You understand that? The I-O. Look at this. They give you a cock and bull story about lifting that stupid obelisk. Look at what they're trying to show you they had to do. This is just yet a more reinforcement of the hoax about the Egypt nonsense. It's basic construction of the time of the cathedral builders. They did all that. They did all this stuff. It's not difficult. They didn't do all that nonsense you just saw. All right. They gave you Isis to worship. They gave you a man in a dress. They then set about corrupting behaviors of both men and women to mix and to mingle and to make sure that you understood that anyone walking up to you and say, listen to me, that is a temple to Mercury. I don't care what you think. You be mad at me if you want, Epstein, but that's the facts. See, they don't want... That right there is the temple of Mercury, which is then opposed on the opposite side with the 33 idea, or the 6 going into the 8, the cube, the 6 with the 8 points being the cube. You see now that you have the C, and the 11 creating your two reapers, or your CC11. That's going to be your 3131. That's going to be your 678 into the mind of Isis, man, into the fallen idea of concern. Through the message, through the words, the pictures, the stories that you choose to believe. So just remember this. All of you that spread the lies of these people and the connected stories as being real, all of you that spread the hoax histories as being real, you're also murderers, liars, thieves, and cowards. Just like these people. You just wear a different costume. These people sell postage stamps and tourist memorabilia. They have turned this place into a carnival. And on the morrow, when they came from Bethany, he was hungry, and seeing a fig tree afar off, having leaves, he came, if haply he might find anything thereon. And when he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for the time of figs was not yet. And Jesus answered and said to it, No man eat fruit of you hereafter forever. And his disciples heard it. And they came to Jerusalem, and Jesus went into the temple and began to cast out them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers, and the seats of them that sold doves, and would not suffer that any man should carry any vessel through the temple. And he taught, saying to them, Is it not written, My house shall be called of all nations the house of prayer? But you have made it a den of thieves. And the scribes and chief priests heard it, and sought how they might destroy him, for they feared him, because all the people was astonished at his doctrine. And in the morning, as they passed by, they saw the fig tree dried up from the roots. And Peter, calling to remembrance, said unto him, Master, behold, the fig tree that you cursed is withered away. And Jesus answered, said to him, Have faith in God, for truly I say unto you, that whoever shall say to this mountain, Be you removed, and be you cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he said shall come to pass, he shall have whatever he said. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever you desire, when you pray, believe that you receive them, and you shall have them. And when you stand praying, forgive, if you have aught against any, that your Father also which is in heaven may forgive you your trespass. But if you do not forgive, neither will your Father which is in heaven forgive your trespass. And they came again to Jerusalem, and said he was walking in the temple, There come to him the chief priests and scribes and the elders, and said to him, By what authority do you do these things? And who gave you this authority to do these things? And Jesus answered and said to them, I will ask you one question, and you answer me. And I will tell you by what authority I do these things. The baptism of John, was it from heaven or of men? Answer me. And they reasoned with themselves, saying, If we shall say from heaven, he will say, Why then did you not believe him? But if we say of men, they feared the people, for all the men counted John, but he was a prophet indeed. And they answered and said to Jesus, We cannot tell. And Jesus answering said to them, Neither do I tell you by what authority I do these things.